This video will demonstrate how to add items to the new gradebook and to set up the gradebook. This is the new gradebook. The original gradebook is called Gradebook Classic, so this new gradebook is more Excel-like. I'm going to click on the Settings tab, and then first of all, it's going to ask me how do I want to enter grades. Faculty typically enter grades in points, so I'm going to leave that the way it is. Grade release rules. This one, we ask that you not change this because we want students to see their released items as well as see their final grade. And then what you want displayed for the student, you can do letter grade, percentages, points. This is just what you want to be displayed to the students. I'm going to do points because all of my grades are going to be entered in a point fashion. I can go to categories and weighting. If I'm not going to do categories, we can just enter items directly into the gradebook without having to give them a category. However, if I want to do categories, that enables me to drop highest, drop lowest, those kinds of things. So I'm going to do categories only. I'm going to do quizzes. And on quizzes, I want to drop the lowest. So I'm going to drop the lowest one quiz. I'm going to add an item for homework. And I want to enable lowest there. So I'm going to drop the two lowest homework. I'm going to add a category for midterm, another category for final, a category for term paper, and maybe we'll add a category for attendance participation. I'm going to save my changes, and now my gradebook is set up with all of the different categories. And when I go back to the next category, a grading schema, this shows you the letter grade that will be assigned to the student based on the points that they have. And for example, if a student has a 94.9, it will display to them that they have an A minus. However, if they have a 95.0, it will display that they have an A. Some faculty like to change A plus to something unattainable since we do not offer A pluses. And now your gradebook is basically set up. So now when I go back to grades, I can add a gradebook item. So let's say I want to assign homework 1, give it a point value of 10. I'm going to say its gradebook item was due September 10th. Now, if you put a due date in here, it will order the items by the due date. Otherwise, it orders them by the title. You'll notice it says uncategorized here, and this include item in grade calculations is grayed out. That's because it is not assigned to a category. Items that are not assigned to a category will not be calculated in the student's grade until they are assigned to a category. So I'm going to assign this to homework. You'll notice it checks this by default, and then I can create. So you can continue to add gradebook items. And even if you only have one item in the category, you still have to enter an item and a category. So let's say the midterm is going to be worth 100 points. It's going to be due October 15th. I'm going to assign it to midterm, and now it's going to release that. So now if I look at my gradebook items, I've got my homework 1 and my midterm exam. One thing that's nice about grouping by categories is I can click this group by category, and then it will group the items together by the category that they are assigned to. One other thing under settings that I want to show you is when I go to categories and weighting. If you want to assign these as categories and weighting, I can click on categories and weighting. I can come down here and enter my percentages. Let's say homework's worth 20, the midterm's worth 20, final's worth 20. Oh, it's supposed to be 20. Term paper, I'm going to make 20. And that leaves me 10% for, if I could enter it right, 10%. So now it tells me that I have 100% weighting. I can save my changes. Oh, yeah, this one odd thing with it, I'm not quite sure why it does it this way, but you can't have points when you do categories and weighting. So if I go back to categories only, turn off my points, then I can do categories and weighting. It will not allow you, for some reason, to display points when you're doing weighted grades. So now I can save my changes, and when I go back to the gradebook tab, it's got these displayed and also tells me what percentage each of those categories, how each of those categories is weighted.